Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today's lesson is going to be joining tuples like we did with joining list in previous lessons. So we're going to look at how we'll be able to join lists using this operator over here, as well as multiplying tuples and the difference between multiplying tuples and joining it. First off, with joining two tuples using an operator, the plus sign operator. Now, with tuples, we can join any sort of values that we wish. I have the basic values over here with Boolean, integer, string, and float. True, false, true, 2, 5, 6, 6, 8, hi, hello, hey, and 2.5, 33.4. We've learned this previously. Now, you can join it with print, or you can simply create, another variable entirely, or a tuple that basically, can have the name of all tuples joined or something like that. And you can write it Boolean values plus integer values, just like what I did here to the print line. And what do you think will be the result of joining tuples this way? Well, since I wrote Boolean values first, we're going to have true, false, true, and then 2, 5, 6, 6, 8. All of this will be joined into one data set, one tuple, basically. Next up, multiplying tuples, which is a little bit different from joining them, because when you join them, it's kind of just like adding them, and all of the values that you join, stay in one place together. But with multiplying tuples, it's more accurate to say that this is duplication, okay? So I have greetings numbers, right? So greetings number 2 equals to greetings times 2. Greetings 2 equals greetings times 2 would be hi, hello, hey, hi, hello, hey, right? So there are duplicate values and they go by the same order. So it's not hi, hi, hello, hello, and hey, hey, okay? And similarly with integers or floats or booleans, they work very much the same way to what I've just demonstrated. So let's have Boolean values equals to true, false, and true, okay? And then let's work on, integer values. My bad of capitalizing. 22. Let's go with 50, okay, 33, and 1, 2, 3. Now let's go down here and have string values. Let's have some greetings. Hi, hey, hello, and what's up, okay? Let me just remove the capitalization because I do like consistency. Lastly, float values, which is a bunch of decimal. Okay, 67.8, 99.3. Okay, all good. Now let's try to combine them. All values equals Boolean values plus integer values. And print all values, print string values, plus float values, okay? Now let's go down to multiplication, print string values times 3, okay? We're going small first. Print integer values times, let's say, 70, okay? Contrast the save. Oh, I almost forgot the plus sign over there, my bad. Now let's run this little thing. Okay, as you can see here, we have Boolean values plus integer values, so we get a combination of this and this, as you can see here. Okay, and the same goes with string values and float values. Hi, hey, hello, hey, what's up, and then a bunch of decimals. And now we get string values multiplied by 3, but they go by the same order. Hey, hi, hey, hello, what's up? Hi, hey, you know the gist, okay? And as for this one, integer values times 70. So it's the same thing, same order, but just 70 times, okay? So it's a lot. Now, thank you for watching. Our next topic's quite an exciting one. Going to be diving into a new data sets in Python, aptly named sets. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today we'll be looking at looping tuples. So a little bit more about looping tuples. As we did with list, we looked at, list syntax, comprehension, for loop and while loop with list, and we're going to do the same thing with tuples. Once again, for and while loops, as well as looping using index. So first, let's tackle for loop. I'm sure if you've watched my previous lessons, you already know the simple syntax for loops. I have here a tuple, animals, bunny, chicken, kitten, 0, 1, and 2 respectively. For types, if you remember, this text right here is simply a placeholder. The names doesn't really matter, so you can feel free to input a more, cohesive and specific name so that your code is friendlier to read. In animals, the tuples over here, print types. So what do you think will be the result of this for loop code? Well, it's going to be bunny, chicken, and kitten. Next up, let's tackle while loop. Once again, we have our good old tuples, bunny, chicken, and kitten. Now, I'm giving types over here a more specific name, start, print, add, and we'll start at 0, okay, unless you want to start at a different number. While start, print, add is less than the length of the tuple animal, print the tuple animals starting at 0, denoted by start, print, add, and after Python prints the, index 0, increase start, print, add by 1. So after it prints 0, the index is going to be 1, so it prints the index 1, and then after it prints index 1, increase it by one more time, so the index is going to be 2. It's incremental like that. Last but not least, looping index for, just like the for loop, start, print, add, our index starter over here, in range of the length of the tuple animals, print animals, start, print, add. So what this does, it goes through each index one by one, very similarly to while loop, okay? So it'll just go through 0, 1, and 2. But the while loop does give you a little bit more flexibility with the ability to allow you, to decide on where in the index that you want to start. Maybe you don't want to start at 0, you want to start at 3, 4, 5, and whatnot. First off, let's create a tuple named animals, and within it we have rabbit, lion, and zebra. Let's go with the for loop first. For types, like I did in my PowerPoint, in animals, print types. Now, let's look at a while loop. I'm going to start with start, print, add, and set it at 0, while, start, print, add is less than the length of animals, print animals, start, print, add. Once again, start, print, add, increment by 1. Later, we're going to experiment with start, print, add for a bit, but for now, let's just continue writing our code. Next up is going to be the index. For start, print, add in range of the length of animals, print animals, start, print, add. Okay? Now let's save this and let's run it. Okay, there we go. Now we have rabbit, lion, zebra, rabbit, lion, zebra, rabbit, lion, zebra. It's printed 3 times since we have 3 different loops over here. Now I want to start with a different tuple for my while loop. So I'm just gonna go with transportation equals to cars, motorbikes, boats, and plane. What else? Bicycle, hoverboard. I guess you can, just for fun. Okay? Now I'm going to bring this one up here. Now I'm going to change into transportation instead of animals. Transportation over here. Transportation over here. I hope I'm not missing anything. So now let's try number 2 here. Okay. As you can see, it starts from boat, right? Boat as opposed to cars. Now, what if we increment it by 2? And let's start at 0 instead. Now it starts with cars, right? And then it skips. Then it starts with boat. And starts with bicycle. Okay, and then skips the hoverboard. Now let's increment it by 3. Okay, now it's just cars and plane. Cars, 1, 2, 3. Plane, 1, 2, nothing. Okay. So for today's lesson, thank you for watching. And our next topic is going to be joining tuples, just like we're joining lists. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today we'll be looking at data sets, what it means, the definition, the syntax, usage, different properties, and common methods that we've applied to lists and tuples, as we've learned in older lessons, such as length, type, and the set constructor, which is a new one. First off, let me answer the question of what is a set. So, I have a little variable over here that's named a set. A set is a data set that is unordered, so there are no index, right? So what you've learned with value number 1 in a tuple or a list having the index 0, and then the next one is having index 1, starting from 0 as opposed to starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we would like in real life. A set does not have such, convenience. It's unordered. So every time you print a set out, the order of the value is randomized. Now, it is unchangeable. Okay, unchangeable, but unlike tuple, there are a few nuances and a few scapegoats that you can use to bypass this innate property. While the value that you have assigned to a set once it is, created is unchangeable, you can add and you can remove values. Okay, so I guess that's just changing items, but with a little extra steps. Once again, it is unindexed and it does not allow for duplicates, unlike lists and tuples. Let's go through each property one by one and let's have a closer look at what they mean and how, you have to deal with them once you use a set in your code. First off, with unordered, items do not have a defined order. They're displayed randomly every time you use them, and they cannot be referred via index or key, okay? Next up, with unchangeable, as I've mentioned before, you cannot change the values that was initially assigned, but you can add or remove the values. So that will be the main way that you manipulate data in a set. A set does not allow for duplicates, so duplicated instance will be ignored. Only the first instance will be displayed, and certain values equate to other values, such as the true value in Boolean is seen as 1. So if a set has a true value and then preceded by number 1, those are considered duplicates, and only the first instance will be displayed or printed, aka only true will be shown and 1 is ignored completely. The same thing with false and 0. Okay, so I have an example over here. False, 1, true, and 0. If I were to print this out, what do you think the end result will be? Well, it's just going to be false and 1. Okay? Because false is a duplicate of 0, so 0 is ignored. 1 is true is a duplicate of 1, so true is ignored. Now let's look at how our common methods work with set, length, and type. I'm sure that you've known these two quite well already. Now I have many values, basically a set. Oh, if you haven't noticed, the data sets, the thing that differentiates their syntax is the different types of parentheses. So let me just delete that. Now a set can contain multiple data types, a string, a float, integer, a boolean, and a float. One more time. Now if I print the length of many values, what do you think the length will be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think the type of many values will be? Well, it is a set. Okay? Last but not least, let's look at a set constructor. This is basically a different way of declaring a set. You can use a set constructor and then put the values that you want to have in the set. But please do be reminded that it is a double parenthesis, okay? Let's have new set equals to, let's have a bunch of values in here. True, 1, false, 0, 77. Let's have a string. Hello, world, okay? Now let's go down here and have constructed set equals to set. So we're going to use the set constructor. 22.2, 33.3, 44.4. So I'm going to duplicate these values, so I just repeat them. 22.2, 33.3, 55.7. Okay. Now we're going to print the length of new set. We're going to print the type of constructed set. Next up, let's print out new set and see what it is. And then print out constructed set. Okay. Contrast to save. Okay, so as you can see here, the values returns 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the actual length is 6, but it set does not count for duplicate values. So true and it only counts true and it only counts false. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go with constructed set. The type or the class is set. And print new set, print this whole thing out, print constructed set, print this whole thing out. Now, what I want to try to do is see if I could print out an index. So I'm going to go with 2. Let's see if it works. No, it doesn't. Okay. Set object is not subscriptable. So no matter what you put in here, it will return the same error. It's not constructible. Now that's it for today's lesson. Thank you for watching and tuning in. We're going to be tackling assessing set items for our next lesson. So I hope that you'll continue to watch that. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today is another mandatory assessing set items, right? For every built-in data types that we looked over, we looked at how to access their items, how to loop it, and how to check it. This time, it's with set, looping, and checking. First off, with looping, you can always rely on your good old for loop. I have a set over here with the values vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Now, for values, this once again is a placeholder, and you can use any sort of text you want. You can use single characters like X, Y, ABC, or you can just say like to be print, or like set values, or It doesn't have to be values, is what I'm trying to say, okay? In a set, print values. Now, if you remember from what we've seen previously with lists and dictionaries and tuples, what for loop will do is it'll print everything, every value that a set would have. So you would have vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, okay? Next up, checking. Checking is very simple. It's denoted by the keyword in chocolate in a set, okay? If chocolate is in a set, it'll return true. But if not, it'll be false. Now, not checking is to see if whether or not a value is in a data set, denoted by not in a set. Okay? Mint is not in a set, so this will return true. But however, if mint is in the set, this will return false. I have a set, and in this, I'm going to follow my PowerPoint and make it vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. I'm going to have a for loop I'm going to go with a single character, x in a set, print x. All right? Now let's go down here and do some checking. Print mint in a set. Print vanilla not in a set. Print chocolate in a set. Now let's see how all this works. If you run it, okay. First with the for loop, it prints out chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Now, why is this in a weird order? You know, vanilla is vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, not chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Well, if you remember, one of the important properties of set is that it is unordered, okay? So it comes in random. Let me try resetting to see if it actually would change the order, okay? Over here you have strawberry, vanilla, and then chocolate. Now it's just automatically random. Next up, mint in a set, which is false. That is true. Vanilla not in a set. False again, because vanilla is in the set, and chocolate in a set, which is true, okay? Now that's it for assessing set items. Once again, it's very, very short. For list tuples set, it's kind of all the same, just differing a little bit based on the properties of each data set that you're dealing with. Now, our next topic is going to be about adding set items while set items are not changeable, right? You can't just, after you've created them, you can't just change them willy-nilly, but you can add and remove items to a set. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today we'll be looking at how to add set items, alright? We're going to be looking at specifically the add method and the update method. Each method have its own properties and ways that it deals with set items, alright? Now first, let's look at adding item using the add method. I have a set over here, vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Now, I want to add the value mint into this set. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to write the name, dot, add, and then I put in mint as the argument for the add method. Now, if I print this out, what I'm going to have is vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and mint. Perhaps not in that order because sets are unordered, but in total, that's what you're going to get. Next up, adding sets. We're joining the two sets together. Once again, I have my good old set with vanilla chocolate and strawberry, and I have another set made out of apple, lemon, and mango. You can certainly use the update method, the same syntax that you would do with the add method, which is the name, the set that you want to append another set to, dot update, and then fill in the set that you want to add in as the argument to the update method. Now, if I print this out, what do you think will happen? Well, we would have an aggregate of all of the values that we see here. However, I cannot guarantee the order because, once again, sets are unordered. Therefore, anything that you print out in terms of, the values that you print out is going to be randomized, okay? Last but not least, we're looking at adding iterable. What I mean by iterable is other data type that are not sets. I have a list of some Boolean values, true and false. Now I want to add this to the set, okay? I can certainly do that by the same method with joining different sets over here with the update method. And I would have vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, true and false, not in that order because sets are unordered for the third time. But when you return the type of the set, this little set over here, after you run this statement, it would be a set. It would not be a list. All right? Now let's create our set. I'm going to go with a greeting. And I'm going to make it hi, hey, hello, and what's up. Okay? Let's go down here and let's add a value into greetings. I'm going to go with greetings dot add, and the value would be world. And then I'm going to print greetings out. All right. Now let's see if you can add another value within the print statement. Greetings dot add. Let's make this random. How are you? Okay. Now let's go down here and let's have another set, which is colors. Red, blue, pink, yellow. And then let's update the greetings with colors. Greetings dot update colors, and then print out greetings, and then print out the type of greetings. Now let's have a list. Transportation, boat, car, bike. Now let's join these two. Greetings dot update transportation. Print greetings. Print the type of greetings to see whether or not it is a list or a set. Okay. Now let's see how this works. All right. Now let's go through each of these. First off, we have greetings. We add world. So hey, hello, hi, what's up, and world. Now, if we put the statement into the print statement. Now, if we put these into print, it returns none. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Now, we have colors, and we want to append it or update it into greetings. And we have hey, how are you? Red, hello. You see, it is random, right? This has become a set. It is random. So it's not in the order that you've inputted in your code. Now, if we return the type, class equals set, and sets are unordered, okay? Next up, with transportation, we print out greetings after we've updated it with transportation. And as you can see here, hey, how are you? We have car, red, hello, book, bite, hi, and pink, yellow, right? So we've made a change to greetings after we've updated it with colors. We don't have the original set anymore. We've had the new one. And once you append the new one with transportation over here, you have all of these randomized values in aggregate, but you still have the same values. And even though we update a list to a set, it returns a set. All right? Now, that's it for this lesson. I hope that you get to understand a lot of things. Don't forget to tune in to my next lesson. We're going to be looking at removing set items appropriately after we've looked at how to add items. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. See you next time. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. We'll be looking at removing set items for today's lesson. Our previous lesson was on adding items, so appropriately is removing items this time, okay? Specifically, the remove method, the discard method, pop, and del. Now, let's dive into remove first. So, given the name, remove will remove the value that you give to it, okay? So I have a set over here, colors with red, yellow, blue, and purple, and I simply need to put the name of the set, dot, the name of the method that I want to use, and then passing the values that I want to remove, okay? Now, if the item does not exist, this will give you an error, okay? That makes sense. Let's move on to the next part. The discard method. Contrary to what we've seen with the remove method, this one will not return an error, okay? Now the syntax is the same with the name of the set, dot, preceded by the name of the method, and then the value that you want to take away, which is yellow. So if colors discard yellow, it will remove yellow from the set. The same thing with the remove method, where it will remove red. All right, but this one will not return an error if the value that you pass to the method does not exist within the set. Okay, now with pop. Usually with pop and other data types, with list, for example, it will remove the last item. But since sets are unordered, so obviously the interaction with these methods are a bit different, and pop will remove a randomized item because items they have random orders, so none of them is the last item. I'm passing the statement colors.pop into the variable value, and if I print value, one of these things will be removed, and anything that is not removed will be displayed in randomized order. Okay, last but not least, clear and del. Clear empties the list, del deletes it. If you make any reference to the deleted set, it will give you an error, okay? Now, clear follows the same syntax with remove and discard as well as pop. But del, you just put del colors, delete colors, and that's it. Okay, first off, we're going to have our set of colors, yellow, pink, blue, and purple. And I'm gonna remove pink, okay? And then I'm going to print colors. Next up, I'm gonna discard yellow. Actually, I'm gonna add in one more statement. Colors, remove red, all right? Oops, forgot the double quotes. And then I'm going to run this and see how Python handles, passing in a color that doesn't exist in the set. So let's see how that works. As you can see here, colors remove red, key error red. That doesn't exist. So let me just remove that since I've demonstrated it already. Because if Python sees an error, it stops at an error. It doesn't move beyond that. Next up, let's try colors, discard red, and see how this works. Let's run it. Okay, and it does not return an error. We can simply continue. Let me just close this real quick. And then let's work with a new colors equals to colors dot pop. And let's see which one it removes. And then print new colors. So as you can see, our latest set for colors is purple and blue. And once it popped out blue. Now let me run it again. Okay. For this time, actually pop out purple and you get blue instead. So that's the randomized property right there. Now I'm just going to delete all of this so I can work with clear and del. Colors dot clear and then print colors. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it returns an empty set. Now I'm going to delete colors and I'm going to print colors. So I'm making a reference to colors. And this should give us an error. Okay, name colors not defined because it's deleted. Now, thank you for watching. I hope that you will tune in for my next lesson as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Our next topic is going to be looping and joining sets like we did with list and tuples. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching once again, and goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today we'll be looking at looping and joining sets. Okay, our previous lessons were about adding and removing set items. Now we're going to take a look at how to loop and how to combine sets together. Specifically, we're going to be looking at our friend for loop and then a new method, union. Okay. First off, let's tackle for loop. I'm sure that a lot of you are very familiar with how for loop works already. You know, for loop is popular, it's used a lot. So I have a set over here, countries with Japan, Germany, and America. And I'm using values in replacement of X or Y or Z or anything for that matter, because values, this thing over here, is just a placeholder. For values in countries, print values, aka print all of the values that are in the set countries. So Japan, Germany, and America. Next up, let's look at union. Union will allow you to return a new set with all of the items from both sets, okay? So, for example, I have the Boolean set. Obviously, we have true, false, false, and true. You know, Boolean just true and false. And then we have character set, ABC, integer set, you know, bunch of whole numbers over here. And then we're going to create a new set wherein we will combine all of the sets that we've seen before, like all these sets up here. Boolean set. So we're taking Boolean dot union using the union method, and we append all of the values that are in the character set and integer set to the Boolean set. All right, I'm going to show you in a bit how this all works out. Now let's take a look at this operator. It will return new set with all items from both sets. It works very similarly. You can say that it works the same as union. It gives you a shorter syntax to work with, right? This looks neat. This looks clean, very short, very simple. Once again, Boolean set, character set, integer set. Instead of writing Boolean set, dog set, dot union, and whatever values of a set that you want to add into in between these parentheses, you can go Boolean set, this operator, character set, this operator, and integer set. Okay? Now, One thing about this operator is that it only combines sets with sets, so it works with, it's very restrictive. It's short and clean, but restrictive, and it doesn't work with other data type. Where in union is a little bit longer, but you can combine the sets with a list, a tuple, a dictionary, whatever you want. Okay, now let's have a bit of a demonstration. I'm gonna go ahead and have a Boolean set, and in this I'm gonna have true, false, and 0 and 1. Okay, 1 is basically the same as true, and 0 is the same as false. They're considered duplicate values. Next up, let's have a character set equals to A, B, and C. Alright, down here, and let's have an integer set. And we can put whatever whole number we want in here. 89. Now first, let's tackle our for loop for values in a Boolean set. Oops, wrong one. Print values. Alright, now let's print this out and see what we have. Okay, now as you can see, it only prints out false and true in randomized order. True comes first, false comes second, but it's a set. It prints however it wants. And now why is this? Why only 2 values when we have 4? Now, if you remember, one of the property of set is that a set does not allow for duplicate values, okay? It only takes the first instance of that value. For example, true, there's a duplicate, true and 1. It will only take the first instance, which is true. The same with false. Now, if I write true, if I put true behind here, what do you think the result will be? Well, it would be false and 1, okay? Because 1 comes first. 1 is the first instance, therefore 1 is printed instead of true. 0 and true are both ignored. Now, let's work with another concept that we've learned in this lesson. Now I'm going to have a new set. We're going to work with the union method, okay? Boolean set dot union character set and integer set. Now I'm going to print this out. New set, okay? Let's see how it is. We have false, 1, ABC, 22, 56, 89. All in all, we have all of the values that are permitted, however, in randomized order. Now I'm gonna try running this again, and as you can see, it changes. Okay, the order changes. It's randomized. It looks very fun. Now, okay, let's make this interesting. I'm gonna have a character list. All right, a character list of D, E, and F. And then I'm going to have an integer tuple. Oops, that's a wrong parenthesis. 22. No, we already have 22, right? So I'm going to make this 19, 136. Now, let's print out the type of character list and then integer tuple as well. Okay. Okay, it is a list and it is a tuple. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to try to join these list and tuple with a set. So, new set equals to Boolean set dot union character list and character set. Print new set. If I run this, okay, it has no issue. Now let's see if it can go with a list on a tuple, integer tuple. Right? Print out. No issue whatsoever. You have all of the combined values. Now, let's use a different method. Let's use the operand that we've learned. Character list, and then integer tuple. Alright? Let's run this. Now, it returns an error. Unsupported operand type for set and list. You cannot join a set, a list, and a tuple. Let me just erase this. So the error would be a little bit different. See, set and tuple appears set and list. So that's it. Like, you can't join a set and a tuple or a list using this operator, but you certainly can with the union method. All right. Now, looping and joining sets is going to be a long lesson. We're done with part 1. Next video is going to be part 2. Okay. We're learning more methods, more different operators. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed the lesson and you learned something new today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today's lesson is going to be another introduction into loop and joining sets. We're going to be taking a look at the update method as well as the intersection method, okay? Now, first with update, this is the first time we've learned about this. Update, it puts all of the items in a set into another set. So what it does is that it changes the original set instead of having a newer copy of that set and then changing the copy instead, okay? And once again, it does not like having duplicate items, so it will get rid of all of that. So we have each set integer 23, 45, and 66, and we have another set of string with hello world. Okay, now if we update the integer set with string, we would have a combination of both sets. Next up, to intersection, instead of changing the original set, what we're going to have is a new set that only contains the items that are seen in both sets. Okay? For example, with coffee, we have espresso, decaf, and latte. For tea, we have oolong, decaf, and chai. Now, if our order is the intersection of coffee and tea, what do you think we would have? What do you think the order would be? Well, it would be decaf, okay? Now, we're taking a look at the AND operator. You can join sets with sets only, not other data types. It's the same strict rule that we've seen in lesson number 36, okay? With the operator not liking to have joined sets of different data types. What this operator does is very similar to intersection, okay? It's just that it's very strict. It only wants to go with sets and it doesn't like combining other data types. Unlike intersection, you can be a bit more free with intersection in terms of data types, okay? Now, once again, I have coffee, I have tea, and I have order. Coffee and tea returns decaf. Now, let's take a look at intersection and update. This would only keep the duplicates, but will change the original set instead of returning a new set. Once again, coffee, tea, coffee, intersection, update, and tea. Print coffee would once again return the duplicates, changing the original set, aka the coffee set over here, instead of returning a new set. That's why we print out coffee, okay? Because we changed coffee already. And the duplicates that we will get is decaf. Coffee will be decaf. Now, I want to refresh your memories for a bit with true, false, 1, and 0 that we've encountered in the previous lesson. True and 1 are considered the same value. The same goes with false and 0. So if you have true and 1 in the same set data type, or false and 0 in the same set, same data type, they will be considered duplicates, and only the first instance will be considered, okay? Okay, now let's have a little bit of a demonstration. I'm gonna create a set called integer set, and its values includes 22, 57, 57 again for duplicate values, 78, and 78. Then I'm gonna create another set, a string set, wherein we have, forgot the double quotes over there, hello and world, okay? Now I'm going to update the integer set with the string set. So integer set dot update string set. Okay. Now I'm gonna print the integer set. And then I'm gonna print the string set so we can see what the update method does to the two variables. Okay. Now let's try running this. Alright, as you can see, we have a combination of, the integer set and a string set for the integer set. So the update method is not creating anything new. It's simply changing an old variable that we've created already. And string set is left on its own. Okay, it still preserves its original value. Now, let's close this for now. Let's move on to another example. Coffee equals to espresso, decaf, latte, double T, and cold brew. Okay? And another set, tea equals to decaf, oolong, chai, and green tea. All right. Now I'm going to create a third variable, order, with coffee dot intersection, and the argument is tea. So we're looking for duplicate variables between coffee and tea. Now let's see if the intersection method does change the OG variable coffee, or do we simply create a new set. Okay. Print coffee, print order, and print tea. Now let's see how this goes. Oops. Okay, we have decaf, latte, cold brew, espresso, randomized. So that's for coffee. So coffee is still its own thing. We don't change that. Next up, we have decaf for order. Order is a new variable. With decaf adds a sole value, and tea is left on its own, just like coffee. Now let's close this. Now I'm going to delete all of this, but I'm going to keep the tea set for myself, and I'm going to create a new set called, not set, list. Tea leaves, my bad. Tea leaves equals to chai, green tea, and what else? I think that's good for now, right? Let's go down here and print out the type of tea leaves. And then let's have a new variable, order equals to tea and tea leaves. And I'm going to print tea, print tea leaves, and then print order. Okay, Control S to save. Let's see how this goes. As you can see here, we have an error, unsupported operand type for set and list. We cannot combine set and list together. However, if we make tea leaves into a set, like this, okay, and let's run it back, we don't have an error anymore. Okay, we have the class equals to set, and tea is left alone, green tea along, chai, green tea, on the other values, and tea leaves, green tea, and chai still its original, and order has the values that are found in both sets. Okay, let's close this for now and let's have a new thing for us. Let's have T, because we're moving on to intersection update. Intersection update. Tea leaves. Okay. Print tea, and then print tea leaves to see how intersection update would, change and modify these two sets over here. Let's run it. Okay, as you can see, intersection update over here, it modifies the original variable. We only have chai and green tea now, the duplicate values that can be found in tea leaves, as opposed to having tea with decaf along, chai and green tea. When you print all of these things out, you can see, the different ways that a method would modify a variable, and sometimes you would miss that and you would run to unexpected issues in your program. Okay, just simply print them out and you got them sorted. Now let's work with some Boolean values. Boolean values equals to, let's make it a set. Okay, 0, 1, oops, not M, 1, 0, true and false and true. Okay. Integer values equals to 30, 0, 22, 1, 555. And then let's go with intersection update. Boolean values dot intersection update. Integer values. Let's go over here. Print Boolean values. Print integer values. Yes. Okay. Now, what do we have? When we print out Boolean values, we have 0 and 1. Okay, now if we print out the integer values, you have the original set. Now, if I add some extra zeros and some extra ones in here, let's see how this works out. Okay, you still have 0 and 1. These are considered duplicate values, therefore they are ignored because that's one of the property of sets. What if we print the Boolean values up here before we modify it with the method of intersection update? Let's see how this goes. Okay, once again, we still have 0 and 1 because these are all duplicates. Now, let me just erase these and run that. Now we have false and true instead because we're just going with the first instance of a value. Now that's it for today's lesson. Don't forget to tune into looping and joining sets part 3. Thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach. Today is the third part of looping and joining sets. We're going to take a look at the difference method, the symmetric difference method, as well as some operators and variation of these two methods. First off, let's take a look at difference. Difference is a method that returns a new set, so it doesn't mess with the original set, that only has items from the first set that are not in the second set. Okay, for example, I have fruit, mango, kiwi, apple, banana, as you can see here, and then I have customer and I have a bunch of names. The only thing in common is the item apple over here, and the result, another variable, equates to fruit.difference, passing in customer as the argument for the method. And we will see what this returns in a little bit during our demonstration. Next up is the hyphen operator. It's the same thing with difference, but it only works between sets. Unlike the difference method, you can work with it with sets and list and tuple and dictionaries, but this operator is very picky, okay? And you can simply write it like this: fruit minus customer, or fruit hyphen customer, and you print out the result and it'll be the same as it does with the difference method over here. Now, let's take a look at the difference update method. It changes the original set, so we're working with the set that we have instead of creating another copy or another new set and then changing that. It will keep the items that are not in the second set. Once again, I have fruit and I have customer. For this one, since it changes the original set, I don't need another variable. I don't need another result over here to pass in. I just simply write fruit, the original set that I want to change, dot difference, update, and passing in customer, okay? Next up, symmetric, or the symmetric difference method. I didn't have enough space over here. So it keeps only elements that are not in both sets. So as you can see, fruit shares the item apple with the customer set. I have result over here, fruit dot symmetric difference, passing in customer. What do you think it will return? Well, obviously apple, the item apple is in fruit and customer, so it'll pass in anything that is not apple. Next up, let's take a look at this little operator over here. It does the same thing as the symmetric difference method, but only in between sets, okay? You can see the repetitive pattern here. These operators, they do the same thing, but they're very picky. They only work between sets, not sets and lists, set and tuple. If you do use these operators for different data types, it will pass in an error, okay? Now, as you can simply see, it's very similar to this operator over here, fruit minus customer. You just go fruit, and then this operator, and then customer, okay? Last but not least, the update, or the symmetric difference update method. It's a very long name, okay? It does the same minus the duplicates. So the keyword is duplicate, and it changes the original set. Once again, I have fruit and I have customer. And since it changes the original set, you don't need an addition variable. Just simply write fruit.symmetric difference update, passing in customer. It does the same thing as symmetric, but it does not tolerate duplicates, okay? All right, I'm just going to go ahead and write fruit equals to mango, kiwi, apple, and then banana, okay? Let's go down here and have customer, Jenny, Smith, apple, apple one more time. We're going to have duplicates value, John, and then John. Let's go down here and let's work with our first method, result equals to, because, we're creating a new set from the original set fruit and customer. We're not changing the original set. Result equals to fruit dot difference customer. Now let's print result. And let's see what that gives us. So you can see here we have kiwi, banana, and mango. We do not have apple, as apple is in the customer set, or the second set, okay? Let's close this. Let's work with something else different. Let's work with the difference operator. Result equals to fruit minus customer, print result. Let's run this. Okay, we have mango, banana, kiwi. Same thing as before. Next up, let's go with difference update. This time we're changing the original set, therefore we don't need result. Fruit dot difference update customer. Print fruit and then print customer, just so we can see, if there's anything that goes on with customer set. Okay, we have banana, kiwi, and mango. no apple as apples in the customer set. And for the customer set, we have John, Jenny, Smith, Apple. We do not have the duplicates. Okay. Now let's move on to symmetric difference. We're going to need result once again, fruit dot symmetric difference, customer, print, result. All right. And then print customer too as well. We should be expecting to see the same thing as we did before. Okay, we have John, kiwi, Jenny, Smith, banana, and mango. We do not have, however, apple. For customer, we still have Jenny, John, apple, and Smith. Okay, minus the duplicates. Next up, let's go with symmetric difference update. Fruit dot symmetric difference update over here. Oops, why didn't it? Okay. Let's go customer, and then let's print fruit, and then print customer. Okay, we have a banana, kiwi, Smith, mango. So we have a combination of both sets, just minus apple. Okay, and it's the same with customer because we're just changing the fruit set, not the customer set. Last but not least, I almost forgot. Let's do the symmetric difference operator. Results equal to fruit, the operator, and then customer. Now let's print the fruit. Let's print the customer. Then let's print the result. Okay. Okay, so we have the original fruit set here and the customer set. As for the result is the same as the symmetric difference, okay? It just simply does not work with other data types that are not sets. So for example, I'm going to make this a list. Let's run it. Okay, unsupported operand type for set and list. Now let's try making this a tuple. Tuple over there. Okay, let's run it. And unsupported operand type for set and tuple. That's it. Now that is it for sets and its different methods. Next up, we're going to have to take a look at dictionary, another built-in Python data type that we've yet to look at. So I hope that you learned something new today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today is a new video about a new built-in Python data type that we've yet to see before, is dictionaries, okay? We'll be looking at the definition, the properties, how we can access the items, how we can, display the items, and the common methods that we've previously used for other built-in Python data types such as list, tuples, and whatnot. So first off, what is a dictionary? A dictionary is a data type that stores data in key and value pairs. So that is your syntax right there. However, I do want to put a little disclaimer for Python 3.7. Dictionaries are ordered, aka you can refer to its items via index. And whichever goes first gets displayed first, whichever goes second gets displayed second, right? So it's not randomized like sets, but for Python 3.6 and above, they are unordered, meaning they're very similar to sets in terms of displaying, and it's very random. So I have a little bit of a demonstration here. We have a new dictionary. We have new dictionary with the key name and its value being Jenny, the key age and its value being 34. As you can see, you can combine different data types in here. You can join in Boolean, integer, string, float. So it's not only limited to a specific type, but you can put whatever you want in here. Now let's take another look at properties. Items are ordered, as I've said before, changeable, meaning you can add and remove items very easily, and they do not like duplicates, okay? the items can also be of any data types, and you can refer to an item using the key name. So this is what I mean: key value, key value, key value. Okay? Print new dictionary, and the key is age. So what this will print is it will print the number 34. Okay? Next up, duplicates. Dictionaries cannot have two items with the same key. The latest one will overwrite the existing value. So let's say I have this key over here, and then I have another duplicate, and then I have another duplicate and a duplicate. This duplicate will replace all of the above, okay? Things that we're very familiar with based on our previous learning experience with list, tuple, and sets, okay? We've all used length and the type method for all of those data types. Now, I have a dictionary constructor over here, right? So this is a short way that you can write dictionary compared to this version right here. Although this version is a bit easier to see and to analyze, this and this is the same thing, okay? Just different ways of writing it. Now I'm going to print out the length of this new dictionary up here. Now, how does Python print out the length of all of this, the keys and the values, right? Does it simply count each pair? So it will be 3 pairs. I'm going to show you that in a bit once we have our little demonstration. Now then, to print the type of this new dictionary, what do you think will be the output? Well, it would be dictionary, correct? It would be dictionary. Since this is the last data type that we're going to learn, well, the last built-in, data collection, let's do a little bit of a recap. First, our good old list. It is ordered and changeable, okay? It allows for duplicates. And this is the syntax for list. As for tuple, it is also ordered, but it is unchangeable. Now I have big double quotes for this unchangeable part, even though you obviously cannot directly add or remove the items of a tuple. There are certain ways that you can work around it. There are plenty of methods that would give you the same freedom of adding and removing a tuple item, okay? And it does allow for duplicates like list. Set, however, is unordered, unchangeable, unindexed, and no duplicates, okay? Next up with dictionary, which is the one that we're learning right now, it is unordered, it is changeable, and it does not allow for duplicates. All right, now let's start off with a new dictionary, okay? I'm just gonna move my mouse out of the way. New dictionary, let's go down and have a name equals to Jenny, okay, comma. Age is 41. Colors, her favorite colors are, we can do multiple data, multiple string in this case. Yellow, okay. And then student is false, comma. And worker is true. Actually, I forgot the little comma over here. There we go. Now let's move on. Worker true, and then worker equals to false. Okay, since it's the last one, we don't need the comma. Now let's print out our new dictionary. New dictionary, print new dictionary. And let's go for some keys. Age, okay. Print new dictionary. Let's go with colors. And last but not least, let's go with worker, okay?
And then let's print out the type of new dictionary as well as the length, okay? Oops, almost. Length goes first and then new dictionary. Contrast to save. Let's see how this works out for us. Okay, so this is the whole new dictionary. This is age, this is colors, this is worker. As you can see, false takes precedence over true. The class is dictionary and the length is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Because this one doesn't count. Since it's a duplicate, the last one overrides this one. I'm just gonna delete this. And let's go down here and create a new dictionary. My dog equals to, let's use a constructor. Name equals to Austin. Age equals to 3. Breed equals to German Shepherd. And print my dog. Print type my dog. And print my dog breed. Okay. Let's go down here, and as you can see, we have the whole dictionary print out over here. The class is dictionary and the breed is German Shepherd. Now this is for today's lesson. Thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new today. Our next lesson is going to be assessing dictionary items and some few more methods that will come in handy when you decide to work with dictionary, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. So today's focus is going to be about assessing dictionary items. All right. The methods that we're going to take a look at are get, keys, values, and items. Okay, make sure to note the S behind them, and it's not just value, item, and key. Let's take a closer look at the get method. Now, I have a dictionary over here named my car. There are 3 keys and 3 values correspondingly. The first key is brand, second key is color, third key is year, okay? And they all have their own values. Now, I have another variable called for sale equals to my car dot get brand, okay? So I'm referencing the brand key over here, and this is what Python is going to work with. Now, another way of doing this is by using the index. So you can write my car, right? And then you can go square brackets, and then double quotes or single quotes, have to keep it consistent. And you put in either the name of the key, like brand, color, or year. And that will give you the exact result that the get method would give you. Next up is keys. Once again, we have our my car dictionary. Now, I want to give you a disclaimer with keys, values, and items. They always update, all right? If you make any changes either to the key or to the value, the methods would update every time you print it out, all right? Now, obviously, you have to put the changes before the method statement. Otherwise, it'll just gonna give you the old dictionary. As you can see here, my car is, the dictionary. And then I'm adding in previous owner equals to Millie, okay? So that is, I've made some changes, I've added some things, and we should have a new list. And as you can see here, I put for sale after the changes that I've made. So for sale dot keys, and then after that, you print out for sale, and it would have previous owner within the dictionary. Okay, then let's take a look at values and what it can do for you. We're using the same dictionary. Now, instead of adding in a key and a value, we're changing an existing key. We're substituting the old value with the new value. The old value being red, all right? And we're substituting red with white. So that's a change that I've made. Values, once again, also update, but you have to put the statement that includes the method after the changes. Otherwise, it's going to give you the old dictionary. So once I've changed color to white, and next up is dot values with the empty parenthesis. When I print out for sale, it's going to give me the brand, the color, instead of red is white, and then the year. Next up on the items. Now, items also update the dictionary after you've made the change, and the syntax is basically the same as the previous methods that we've seen before. So it's, dot keys, dot values, and dot items. Now, we're going to move to the last part of this lesson, which is checking. Checking is something that we've seen with list, tuple, stats, and now with dictionary. You're just simply using an if-else statement minus the else, to be honest. If brand, so this is a key, okay? If brand, in the dictionary, my car, print, yes, the brand's info is available for my car. Okay, so you don't need to write like if brand, equals true or anything like that. If it exists, it's true. If it doesn't exist, it's false.
Hello everyone, let's start with my car. My car is a dictionary with the key brand and the corresponding value of Toyota. Comma, let's go down here and have color is red. Oops, I forgot the double quotes. All right. And then the year. Year will be, let's see, 1700s perhaps. And then let's go down here and have another variable name for sale equals to my car dot get brand. All right. And then we're going to print for sale. And let's see how this works out for us. Next up, we're going to go down here and have my car again, but we're going to add in another key and value, previous owner, all right, previous owner, and her name is Millie. Millie, print my car because we want to see the result of each changes that we've applied to the dictionary. Another one, for sale, we're reusing variable my car dot keys. Okay, no need for any argument. Simply print for sale. This will print all of the available keys that we have, including the new ones that we just added. Let's go down here and let's use my car once again. We're going to practice changing the value of the keys that are already in the dictionary. So I'm going to be change the color key into purple. All right, and then I'm going to print my car like we did before. Let's go down here and actually let's try changing it one more time just so we can see how frequently we can change the values of our keys. Now remember to print to show the result. Next up, let's work with the values method. For sale equals to my car dot values. No need for argument. Print for sale. All right. Now let's add another key and value. My car. No need for sale. Usage. All right. And the usage is a family car. Family driving. All right, print my car, don't forget that. And then let's work with the if and else loop for dictionary for sale equals to my car items. All right. Oops, I misspelled this. My car items print for sale. And now let's move on to the looping part. If brand is in my car, print yes, the brand information is available. All right, let's go down here and let's have another if let's use a false value this time. If a current owner in my car prints yes, the current owner information is available. If not, this is what we're going to go with. Else print no, there are no current owners. All right, contrast to save. And let's see how this works out for us. We've got everything we need, all right? Okay, first off with for sale, my car, get the brand, print for sale, we have Toyota because that is the value of the brand. Next up, we add in previous owner Millie, so we print the whole thing plus the previous owner, which is what we get. We get the whole thing and then previous owner. Next up, we want all of the keys, all right? And that is what we got. We got, dictionary keys, brand, color, year, previous owner, and all that good stuff. Next up, let's go down here. Color, we change it to purple instead of the old value of red, all right? So brand, Toyota, color is purple plus previous owner, Millie, all right? Next up, we changed it to white, and it became white immediately. Next up, we're finding the values, and that's what we got. Dictionary values, Toyota white, 1700 milli. And down here, we add in another property is usage, and after previous owner milli, we got the usage, family driving. Down here, we get items. Items mean keys and values. So we got dictionary items, the brand is Toyota, the color is white, year 1700, previous owner is Millie, and the usage is family driving. So they're all grouped together so you won't get confused, all right? Next up, if brand in my car, which is yes, we have a brand, it's Toyota. Print, yes, the brand information is available, which we have here. In the other case, if current owner in my car, print, yes, current owner information is available. Otherwise, no, there are no current owners. And since this return false, since we don't have, any key of current owner with its value, then we get no, there are no current owners. All right. Now, that's it. Now, that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you learned something new, and do tune into my next Python lesson, which talks about a bunch of things, really, adding, removing, and looping dictionaries. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today is another good day to start changing dictionaries. It's just a short name for what we're going to be learning, which is adding and removing items from dictionary. Fret not, this is going to be a very simple, quick, brief, brief but in-depth enough so you can start experimenting and doing your own thing with dictionaries. All right, now with adding items, okay? As you've seen before with list, tuples, and set, the index is, not with set, because set is randomized and you can't really use index, which is ordered, for something that is unordered, but we can certainly use indexes for dictionaries, all right? You have key value, and it's all ordered like that, and you can use indexes, specifically square brackets with double quotes, to add as well as change dictionaries. Now I have a new dictionary with the name apple, and ripe is true. And after this statement, new dictionary color, red, another key and value pair will be added, which is color and red. All right. So before we move on to the next method of adding items to a dictionary, I want to mention that when you use the update method, which is what we're going to be focusing on, if the items do not exist, it will be added. Okay. But if it does exist, it will be changed. Now, the argument must be a dictionary or an iterable with the key value pairs format. All right. So here's an example. I have new dictionary again with the name apple and ripe being true. Now, if you update color and red key and pair value format, and there are no color keys, that will be your new thing. However, if there are, then it's just simply change the value of color to red. Next up, with removing items. Now that we've added items, let's talk about removing items. Okay, this is a method that you've seen before with list pop. All right, with pop, it removes the key that was passed in as an argument for pop. New dictionary dot pop, parenthesis, double quotes, ripe will be removed, and all you have is name apple for new dictionary. Another variation of the pop method is the pop item method, where it will remove the last inserted item, so there's no need for passing in any arguments. It's empty between the parentheses. Now in Python 3.7 and much older, pop item removes a random item instead. So if you start, if you see the pop item may have some weird or unusual behavior, the first thing you could do is check the version of Python that you're working with. All right. Now with new dictionary dot pop item, which key to value pair, my bad, will it remove? Will it remove the name, or will it remove the ripe? It will remove the ripe, okay, because it removes the last inserted item. Next up is del or delete. It will remove the item with a specified key name, but it can also delete the entire dictionary completely. Now you have del, new dictionary, square brackets, double quotes, just like we see over here. Right. The first thing that we see using indexes, square brackets and double quotes. Same thing over here. Now let's go back. All right. Now it will delete or, completely take out the name key with its corresponding value out of the new dictionary. But if you don't pass in an index and you just give it, delete new dictionary, it will delete the dictionary completely. And when you want to reference or use new dictionary in any way, it will pass in an error. And a similar method to delete new dictionary is clear new dic dot clear. No need to for passing in an argument, empty between the parentheses. Now I just want to have a disclaimer. Deleting a dictionary and emptying a dictionary are two different things. With deleting a dictionary, once you print it afterwards, or you reference it, or you try to use it somehow, it will return an error because that dictionary no longer exists. However, with clear, it just simply takes away all of the values, all of the items that are currently nestled within that new dictionary. Okay? And when you print it or you try to use it or return it somehow, it will just give you basically nothing. Okay, you have nothing. You have some parentheses on as outputs on display, but it won't give you an error because new dictionaries still exist. You can certainly add more items in, but not removing items, obviously. So let's have with us a new dictionary equals to name is orange, all right, comma, ripe is let's make it false, and then for no capitalized. For sale is also false. Right, let's go down here and let's have new dictionary. Owner. So this is something that we don't have in the OG dictionary. Jackson. Print. New dictionary. And I'm just going to copy and paste this because we are going to use this a bunch of times. Then let's go down here and have new dictionary once again. Ripe. And ripe is a key that we do have. True. And print new dictionary. And the new dictionary dot update. Let's say color. Right, color. Light orange. Light orange, not bright orange. Print once more. And let's go down here and let's have the exact same thing, but let's change the value of color. Let's have it deep orange. Okay. And print. Then let's work with pop item, new dictionary dot pop. Pop first. Let's go with pop first. For sale. All right. Print. Then pop item. Pop item. All right. And no need for any argument. Print once more. Then let's delete a key in the dictionary. Let's delete wrong syntax over there. Name. All right. Name is what we're aiming for. Print. And last but not least, new dictionary dot clear and print. All right, so that's all we have for now. Let's go for it. Okay, so first off, owner Jackson doesn't exist. It adds into the new dictionary. So you have name, ripe for sale, and owner. Now, next up we work with ripe. Since ripe already exists, it simply changes the value of ripe. Once again, we're using the update method. Color is light orange. Color does not exist, so it would add in the into the dictionary, and we have color light orange. And next up, color deep orange. Since we already have color, it changes the value of color. All right, and then pop for sale. We no longer have for sale. All right. Pop item. The last item we have was color, right? Yeah. And now that we popped it, there's no more color. And we've removed the name as well. So we're only ripe and owner are left. And lastly, we clear, and it's clear. Now instead, if I just del new dictionary, it returns error, name error. New dictionary is not defined. All right. Okay, so that's it for adding and removing dictionaries. Next up, we're gonna be looking at some common looping method for dictionaries. So you have an easier way of printing out all of the elements within a dictionary, and it'll make your life way much more easier. So I do hope that you enjoyed today's lesson. Don't forget to tune in and remember to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. For our next lesson today, we'll be looking at looping dictionary. All right, every data type we've learned looping, we've learned adding and removing items. Now this time, it's up to dictionary. And we'll be taking a look at the common looping, like the for loop, and then the methods that help with looping dictionaries as well, such as values, keys, and items. Since there are keys and values in dictionary as opposed to simply values in list, set, and tuple, let's take a look at how to loop keys first, all right? So, the common for loops does just as well with looping keys, and when you loop through a dictionary with this for loop, you will get the keys and only the keys, all right? Now, if you want values, I'll tell you in a bit, and this is the syntax that we're working with for loop. Return keys, once again, this is just a placeholder. You can use this for, you can name this as anything, X, Y, Z, values, not values, result. For example, I'm just putting in return key so it's easier to understand. In this dictionary, let's just pretend that we have a dictionary named this dictionary. Print return keys, all right? So in this dictionary, whatever keys and value pairs you have, it'll only give you back the keys. Now we know how to loop keys. Let's take a look at how to loop values. Once again, you can use the for loop using the index. You can print all of the values one by one, just like you had seen with keys. Once again, for I'm using return values as opposed to return keys, all right? In this dictionary, so the same thing we're working with, print this dictionary, and now with the square brackets. So if you want just the keys, no brackets, no squares. But if you want the values, you have the square and you have the bracket, all right? Now let's take a look at our first method, values. Using the values method to return the values of a dictionary. It's very self-explanatory. Values is values. For return values in this dictionary, dot values, no need to pass in any sort of argument, just empty parenthesis, print return values, all right? And as you might surmise, this would give you the same result as this would. It's just different ways of getting the same thing. Next up is keys. Using the keys method to return the keys of a dictionary. You have the same syntax that you've seen with the values method, all right? So for return keys in this dictionary, dot keys, open parenthesis, all empty, print return keys, and this would give you all of the keys that are in this dictionary as opposed to this one that will give you all of the values in the dictionary. Now, what if you don't want just one? You don't want just values or just keys, but you want both pair. You can use items. Befittingly, there is a way you can loop through both keys and values using the items method. I have 4 return keys, so the keys goes first and then the value goes second. Return values in this dictionary dot item, no need for any argument, print return keys and return values, so you get the keys listed here and then you get the value listed afterwards, okay? And they would go in pair, so you won't have any sort of confusion on that part. My cat equals to sassy is true. Polite, forgot the over there, is false, and picky is true, and then age is 2. Now let's go down here. For return keys in my cat, we have print return keys, all right? Then here for return values in my cat, we have print my cat, then square brackets, return values, all right? Now what's next? The methods, right? For result in my cat dot keys, print. Then finally, for result in my cat dot values, I almost forgot values over here, print result, and then let's go down here, and for total in my cat dot items, we're printing both keys and value, print, I meant to say total keys and total values.
So print total keys and then total values, because you want to print keys and values, right? You can't just print one thing. Now let's see how this runs. Okay, so let's take a look at what this is. First, we print out return keys. We have keys, sassy, polite, and picky, as well as age, right? And then we print out the values. So true, false, and true. Next up, we're printing out keys again, as well as value. So we have the same thing printed twice. And then we have total keys and total values in cat.items. Therefore, we have sassy equals true, polite equals false, and picky equals true, as well as age equals to 2. Now that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you get to learn something new and something exciting today. Our next topic that we're going to tackle is nested dictionaries, all right? So I hope that you do tune in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today is a new day, a new lesson. We'll be taking a look at nested dictionary. This is the last lesson that we're going to take in when it comes to dictionary. Okay, so we've learned a lot with dictionary. We've learned how to create them, how to access their items, how to loop through them. Now for the last part is learning about nested dictionary. And as you know, anything that's nested is within of something. So it's a dictionary inside of a dictionary. And this would help when you want a dictionary that contains different categories and different varieties of data, okay? So it's not as restrictive as the other data types that you've seen previously. Now, what will you be looking at specifically in this lesson? Sorry, I had a little bit of a typo. And so we're looking at the definition of nested dictionary, right? So you can see the syntax and sort of gauge what it's used for, accessing items, looping nested dictionary, okay? So we're looking at the syntax, how to get its item. We'll be looking at the syntax, how to access nested dictionary items, and then how we can loop through nested items, okay? So let's take a further look. First off is the definition or the syntax, right? Nested. A dictionary can contain dictionaries. It doesn't have to be one within one. For example, this is a dictionary within a dictionary. Now I could have created more dictionaries within one dictionary, but I kind of ran out of space. So we have coffee here. So this is a dictionary that's nested within menu, another dictionary. Now to be exact, I have 2 dictionaries nestled inside of menu. Okay, so first off I have coffee, the type is decaf and the size is grande. For the second dictionary I have tea and the type is green tea. Okay, so that is the bare minimum, that's the bone of what you're working with if you want to include nested dictionary in your file. Now let's move on to new dictionary, specifically creating 2 dictionaries and then 1 dictionary that contain the other 2. So instead of having this little syntax over here, which can get, quite confusing when you're just first looking at it, you can go for the easier route of creating different dictionaries. So as you can see, the coffee syntax is just your typical creating a new dictionary syntax. When you look at it, you know what it is. Coffee, type decaf, size grande, and the same goes with tea, with type green tea, and I add in size medium. Okay, now how do you create one dictionary that contains both of these things, coffee and tea? Simply just create another dictionary. Here I have its name ordered, and then the same syntax, coffee equals coffee and tea equals tea. So it's the same syntax that you see, just copy and paste it, okay? While this method may seem a little bit more neat, syntax is not as repetitive as this one, but you can choose whichever, okay? It goes both ways, same thing. Now let's move on to assessing items. And we start with the name of the outermost dictionary, so the container of the nestled dictionaries. So I have the same thing with coffee, tea, and order. I'm using the second type of syntax, which is a little bit repetitive, but it's easier to see. And I print order, so the container, right? the outermost dictionary, then preceded by the dictionary that I want to target, and then its key, okay? So it goes outermost and the one that you want to target, and then its key or value. Okay, now that we've dealt with that, let's move on to looping using the items method. It's more convenient because the keys method only target the key, and the values method only target the values. Okay, I've talked about this in previous lesson. You can check them out if you want to learn more about dictionary methods. So let's move on. I have coffee, tea, and order the same thing that you see on previous slides. And so I'm using a for loop, okay, our Kudo for loop. For x, once again, x and obj or object are just placeholders, and you can use different names for these things to make it more clear, to make it more concise, which I will be demonstrating to you in a bit. So let's continue. Obj or object. In order dot items, no argument here. Print x, and then for y in object, print y plus, this little thing, this little string, object with the index y. Okay, so what would this look like? Well, I'm just gonna move to the demonstration and you can figure it out for yourself. So let's create our first dictionary. Menu equals to coffee, right? Coffee, sometimes I forget the double quote, sorry. Coffee, and type decaf. Okay, same thing that we see here. Don't forget the comma. If you don't have the comma where it needs to be, it'll going to return you a bunch of errors. Size, and size is grande. Okay, let's move down here and let's have T type. Okay, oops, I forgot the little comma over here. As you can see, it makes everything like, it looks like error. Type is green tea, and then the size is medium. Okay, now we're done with menu. Let's try printing some things out. Print menu. Then I'm gonna print out coffee, and now I'm gonna put a comma over here just so we can see the difference with and without comma. And then I'm gonna print out tea. Now go down here, print menu coffee. And then tea. Whoops, tea. Now this time I'm going to target a key of the coffee dictionary. Print menu coffee. No comma. And I'm going to go for the type. Okay, type. And let's copy and paste and do the same thing with tea because I want to see what it looks like. Tea. Make this size. All right, now let's go down here. Let's move on with another dictionary, pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie slices is 5. We're going for the second method of having nestled dictionaries. Topping is whipped cream. Okay, toppings whipped cream. Then apple pie. Apple pie slices is, let's make it 7. And then the topping is, whoops, fresh apples. All right, fresh apple slices. Okay, now that's it for pumpkin pie and apple pie. I'm going to be having another dictionary. Now this one is going to encompass pumpkin pie and apple pie. I'm going to name it order. And let's have, whoops, pumpkin pie equals to pumpkin pie, and then apple pie equals to apple pie. Okay, I'm just going to scroll down so you can see it better. Let's move down here. Print order pumpkin pie. Okay, pumpkin pie. And then I want to see what slices will return. All right, and we're gonna do the same thing with apple pie. Apple pie. Then I want to get the topping key. Now let's move on with looping for result. No, for pie name. Okay, result is a bit too vague. Pie in order dot items. Down here, print pi name. And then let's go down here for properties. Yeah, properties in pi. Print properties plus this two, and comma pi, and then put in properties. Okay, Control S to save. Okay, up here, as you can see, first off, we print out the coffee and tea just fine, no problem. But we did not print, as you can see, the keys and values of tea. We just did it for coffee and then just tea, okay? Because you're supposed to put menu in front of tea over here, and then it would print this whole thing. Now, next up, it says here key error T. So Python without the comma really does think that T is a key within the coffee dictionary, but that is not the case. So that's why it returns an error, because there's no such key. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in menu over here, and then I'm just going to get rid of this T, Control S to save, and then let's try again. Okay, as you can see, it prints out menu, coffee, right? All of the coffee properties you see here, keys and values, and it did the same thing with tea. Now, coffee, we already know it's already printed up here. Next up, coffee type. So coffee type is a decaf up here, and it returns decaf. Tea size is medium, and return medium. Now let's go down here with our pies. Now, pumpkin pie slices from the order dictionary is 5, and the topping from apple pie in order is fresh apple slices, just like what I put in up here. Okay, now let's move on to the loop part. Now, for pie name, print pie name, we have pie name here, pumpkin pie. For properties in pie, print properties plus this little string, and then the properties. We have slices, topping, whipped cream, and the same goes with apple pie. Now, you can certainly change the string. So I'm going to make it something nice. Now I'm just going to print that out and see how it works. See, it replaces the string that we've seen previously, and it replaces with a heart. Okay, so that's it for dictionaries and demonstration. That's it for our last lesson when it comes to dictionary. I hope that you learned something new. I myself do enjoy making these lessons. And our next topic that we're going to be tackling is the if and else, the classic if and else that you can see in a lot of languages like JavaScript, C, and whatnot. And we're going to dive into it in Python. Okay, they're very convenient and they're very universal and extremely common. So I do hope that you'll tune into that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today's lesson is going to be about if and else, focusing on conditions and if statements, as well as the logical conditions. We use logical conditions in a lot of things, but the most common thing that we use them for is if and else. Okay, you can see them in a lot of if and else statements. So let's move on to the next part. Let's review the logical conditions that we've seen previously. We have equals. Okay, remember 2 equals, because 1 equal is the assignment operator. It basically means, let's say if you have A equals to B, that is saying the value of A, give it to B. Okay? Not equals is this one. Less than or equal to, greater than, and greater than or equal to. I'm sure you're very familiar with it in everyday life. Okay? It's not big math, it's very common. So, after logical conditions, let's take a look at the simple syntax of if and else. So, at the bare minimum, you have 2 values. Okay? You have 2 values, x and y. If x is less than y, so this is your condition right here. If the condition is true, execute whatever is below here, or whatever is in the condition. If x is less than y, So if 2 is less than 3, print 2 is less than 3. Very easy to understand, right? So let's move on to the next part. Now, for Python, indentation is very important. Python needs indentation to define scopes in code. Now, you'll be learning about scopes in future lessons, but what you need to know is that it needs indentation to sort of identify where a block of code begins and where it ends, how each block of codes are separated from each other. It relies on indentation for that. Now, in other languages, it uses curly brackets. So when you look at it, it becomes very obvious to you. And if you're not used to looking at Python, it may be a little bit confusing, but the indentation services the same way as curly brackets would, okay? And if I give you this code over here, minus the indentation, this will give you an error. And what kind of error? I'm going to show you in a demonstration, all right? Now, let's move on to elif, or else if, and just shorten. Elif is basically if the previous conditions were not true, then see if this condition is true, okay? Now, I have an example. Age equals to 21. If age is less than 21, print, you're not old enough to drink. Elif, age is equal to 21, so same value, print, you're old enough to drink, okay? Simple enough. Now, I want to introduce to you another familiar statement because it goes hand in hand with if. You have if and you have else, okay? Because they call it the if and else statement. Elif is usually less mentioned as a shorthand. So else catches anything that is not true, okay? It catches anything that aren't caught by any conditions that you've given previously. So the conditions of age is less than 21, not fulfilled, okay, because this age is 55. Now, age equals to 21, it's not fulfilled, right? Now, whatever is not fulfilled, whatever is not true, it jumps onto else. Print, you can drink anything. Now, if you don't have else, it's just not gonna do anything, basically. And let's move on. So I do hope that you managed to understand that. It's very simple. If, elif, and else. Now, alternatively, you can omit the elif part, right? If you have a very simple true and false, yes and no, if this is this, that is that sort of statement, right? If that's your purpose, then if and else suffice. You don't need to add in elif. Elif is usually for more like complicated, complex, a little bit higher demanding when it comes to different conditions, okay? And if age is less than 21, print you're not old enough to drink, else print you're old enough to drink, okay? Very simple like that. Now let's have a little bit of a demonstration. So let's go with order, and my order is T. Okay, you've seen an example of integers being used in if and else. Now let's try using string and Boolean values. Okay, so I'm gonna first go with something very simple. If t print your order is T. Okay, now let me just zoom in so you can see it easier. If T, print order is T. Okay, if you simply just write it like this, if this evaluates to true, print your order is T. And I'm gonna run this. So as you can see, your order is T. Now what if I put in here coffee and it still prints out your order is T? Okay, now why is this? It's coffee, right? And it's not T. And coffee just simply is not in any sort of variable, so why does it work? Well, just basically anything that you put in here that is not false or 0, it'll print out your order is T. Okay, this gets fulfilled very easily. Now let's test that, shall we? Let's go with false. If false, print your order is T. And let's see if it actually does print. Now it doesn't, okay? Because it is false, it doesn't evaluate to true. But what if we just put in true? Your order is T. As you can see here, very interesting, okay? Now let's try 0 and 1s. Because 0 should evaluate into false. It's considered duplicate values in a lot of data sets. See, it does not print, and if we put in 1, your order is T. Okay? Now, let's say, let's go with false. No order. Else, print your order is T. Okay? Let's see how this works. Now, your order is T because this false here, since it's already false, there's nothing to do. It jumps down here to else, and then it prints your order is T. Okay? Now, if we make this 1, and it says no order, because this evaluates to true. If this gets fulfilled, this gets printed, and it skips the else entirely. So it's a top-down sort of execution, okay? Now, let's move on to more complicated orders. If order is T, print 1T coming. Down here, Aleph, order equals to coffee, print, sorry, we ran out of coffee, and then let's go down here to else, print, what would you like to order? Okay, and let's run this. So 1T is coming, right? Order is T, so this evaluates to true. Now I'm going to switch this to coffee, and this should run. Sorry, we ran out of coffee, right? And what if it evaluates to like X or something? What would you like to order? Okay, so that's the nice thing that you have. Now you can get rid of Aleph entirely, but if you put coffee in here, it will not tell you that coffee has ran out. Simply write, what would you like to order? So that's where the specific of Aleph comes into, okay? Now that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you do learn something new and that you find if and else a little bit more interesting. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at more Python conditional statements. So you're looking at or, and, not, and those really does help simplify your code, makes your life easier. So I do hope that you'll tune into that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today we'll be learning about more conditions, okay? Because our previous lesson we learned about if and else. In this case, we learned there are more options, more varieties of making more specific conditions for our if and else, okay? So first thing first, we're going to take a look at shorthands and or not keywords, and then we're going to take a look at nested if and the past statement as content for an if and else statement, okay? So let's see what we have. First off with shorthand if. So this is the syntax that you're working with. If x is larger than y, print x is larger than y, okay? It's very, it's very straightforward. It's basically the same if and else, with the whole indentation and new line and line breaks, but on one line, okay? So you can take out the indentation. It's very, very much the same. Now, what about if and else, okay? So with if and else, so I'm adding 2 extra variables, just for a little bit more variation. X equals to 5 and y equals to 10. Print x if x is larger than y, else print y. Or alternatively, if you want to add more in, print x if x is larger than y, else print equal if x is equal to y, else print y. And you're going to see how this works out later on, okay? So let's move on to another lesson. Let's move on to, another topic. And the and keyword is a logical operator and is used to combine conditional statements. So what this basically does is that, let's say you have two conditions that you want to be met, right? You want a result that is coming from satisfying two conditions at the same time. So that's what and is for. So I have A, B, and C. If A is less than B and C is larger than A, print both conditions are true. So both must be satisfied. If only one is satisfied, this will not be met. It'll print something else, okay? Or it won't print anything at all if you don't add like elif or else into this block of code. Next up, the or keyword. It is another logical operator just like and it's used for combinations. However, with and, both conditions must be met. But for or, only one needed to be met, right? So only one is good enough. And I have the same A, B, and C. If A is less than B and C is less than A, print at least one of the conditions is true. Now, obviously, C is not less than A, right? C is 30, A is 10. So this part is not satisfied. But so next up to another logical operator, just like and, we have or. So for and, both conditions must be true. However, with or, only one needs to be true, okay? Only one is good enough. So I have the same A, B, and C here. If A is less than B or C is less than A, print at least one condition is true, okay? Now, A is less than B, we know that for sure. A is 10, B is 20. But C is not less than A because C is 30 and A is 10. So C less than A, one of the condition is false. But since or only need one, which is satisfied by A less than B, we print out at least one of the conditions is true. So let's move on to the next part, the not logical operator. Now, not is a reversal of the condition that you give. If something is not that or not happening, it is fulfilled. So A is equal to 100, B is equal to 250. If not, A is larger than B. So A is less than B. And this is the equivalent of saying if A is less than B, okay? Print A is not greater than B. It's just a reversal, okay? Now, let's move on to nested if. If statements can have if statements within them. So age equals to 21. If age is less than 10, right, print, have some candy. If age is larger than 15, but less than 21, so in between 15 and 21, only tea and coffee. Else, larger than 21, print, you can have alcohol, okay? It's very straightforward, very simple, just like that. So our last topic that we're going to discuss is about the past statement. By default, if and else cannot have nothing. It needs to have some kind of content within it. If you just write if and you give nothing, if you just write if and give a condition and not have like a print after that or anything else, Python will return an error. So, but sometimes you don't have the content, so what can you do? You just need to put in a pass, and Python will pass along, okay? Just use the pass statement if there's nothing, if you don't want anything to be after the if, or else, for that matter. If, else, and elif, it works the same. Let's work with the shorthand if. I'm gonna have, let's say, order is 1 muffin. muffin, and then order quantity is 2 muffins. Let's make it 2 muffins, okay? If order is equal to muffin, print I want muffin, okay? And let's move on to another shorthand. Print muffin if order equals to muffin. Else, print what do you want, right? And then let's make it a little bit longer. Print muffin if order is equals to muffin, so same thing. Else, print what do you want if order equals to coffee, if order is a muffin and order quantity is less than 5. Some muffin and less than 5. Okay, let's move on with or. So I'm gonna copy and paste this. I'm just gonna modify it. Okay, if order is muffin or order is greater than 5, so this is false. Muffin and not more than 5. Next up, let's use not. Not order equals to coffee. Okay, print no coffee please. Okay, no coffee please. And then let's move on to some nested ifs. Age is 21. If age is less than 5, print no alcohol for kids. If age is equals to 18 and age less than, print come back in 3 years. Okay, if no more if, else print you can have alcohol. And then I'm gonna change order back to muffin. Okay, and let's run this. So first off, with muffin, if order equals to muffin, print I want muffin. Print muffin if order is muffin, else print what do you want. Okay, so it is muffin right over here. Now if I just change it to like blah 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 whatever, run it again, it's gonna be what do you want. Okay, so now I'm just gonna change it back, muffin, print it once again, and we have the same thing as we did up here. So let's go through it one more time. Next up, if order equals to muffin and is less than 5, muffin and less than 5, which is true, muffin and less than 5, because we only wanted 2. Otherwise, it would print muffin and nothing. It would print nothing, okay? Next up, if order equals to muffin or order is larger than 5, so only one needs to be true, which is order equals muffin, it prints out muffin and not more than 5. If order is not coffee, no coffee please, which is true because order is So that's it for today's lesson. I do hope that you learned something new, and don't forget to check into my next lesson, which is going to be talking about while loops. Now we've talked so much about for loops already. It is something extremely common, but the same goes with while loops. They are also very, very useful. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach. Today's a new day, a new lesson, okay? This time we're paying attention to for loops. And what do we have for this lesson about for loops? We're going to be looking at looping through string, the break, continue, and range function, okay? So first off, with looping through strings, as you know, they are iterable objects, so you can loop through them, okay? For example, for result in result, so we're looping through the string result, print result. So we're looping through result.
T, and so on, okay? Next up, for a break statement that's often used in a lot more things and not just with loop. You can also use it in while statements as well, as we've seen in previous lesson, the while loop. A break statement would stop the loop before it's looped through everything. So it's basically like, a stop button. We have for result in trooper, and I want to mention that for result, the word result here is just a placeholder. You can replace it with anything, okay? XYZ or just any sort of word. Print result, so we're printing through TRO, and then we go down here. If result equals to O, break. So we're printing TRO, first instance of O, we stop. Therefore, we only have TRO, okay? Next up, another example of a break statement. Now, as you see here, we put the print result before the if result equals O, break. Now, what happens if we put it after? So we have fast food, McDonald's, Jollibee, and KFC. For result in fast food, if result equals to Jollibee, break, and then print result. I will show you a quick demonstration of the difference between this and this in a little bit. Okay? Next up, to continue statement. Using continue, you can stop the current iteration and then hops on to the next. What this is basically a skip statement. Okay? For result in fast food, in reference to this variable over here, if result equals to Jollibee, continue. So it will print McDonald's, Jollibee, skip KFC. So it's just McDonald's and Jollibee. Okay? And then print result, and that's it. Let's move on to the last part, the range function. Now, a range function is mainly used to loop through a specified number of times. It returns a sequence of numbers, right? Starting from 0, so this is default, and it increments by 1. This is also default. And then it will end at the numbers that you specify over here. Now, obviously, you can change the starting point so it doesn't have to start from 0. 0 is just the default if you don't specify anything. And you can also change the increment value, which I will show you in a bit. We have 4 numbers in range. 17. 17 is where we want to end. Print numbers. Now, this will start at 0, okay? Increments by 1, and then stops at 17. Now, you can specify the starting value, and here I've put 3. So this starts at 3 instead of 0, so 3, 4, 5, And if you want to change the increment value, you add it behind here, the last number, and this will increment by 2 as opposed to 1 by default. Okay? Let's go for a quick and simple loop first for result in, let's say, Apple. Print result. Okay? Next up is break for result in, let's say, strawberry. Result. Okay, and then let's go down here. If result equals to, let's say, W, break. All right. Now let's move on. Let's have fast food, as we've seen before. Fast food, McDonald's, then KFC, Jollibee, Domino's. Okay. I think there's no E in Domino's. I'm just going to go with Domino's. For result in fast food, if result equals to Jollibee, break, and then print result. Now, next up, let's continue with the continue statement. For result in fast food, we're reusing the variable. If result equals to Jollibee, okay, continue, print result, Let's move down here. And last but not least, the range function for numbers in range, let's say 5. Okay? Print numbers. For numbers in range, we're going to specify the starting point, and I'm going to make it 5. And then up till 20, print numbers. And then for numbers in range, starting value is 7, ending at 15, and increment by 2. Okay? Print numbers. Now this is what we're working with. It's a little bit long. We're going to go through it one by one. So first off, for result in Apple, print result. So it loops through APPLE. Okay? And the same goes with strawberry. It starts listing STRAW, and once it is W, break. So it stops completely. Okay? Next up, we have fast food. For result in fast food, if result equals to Jollibee, break, and then print. We have McDonald's, KFC, and then stops completely. Because result equals to Jollibee, it just completely breaks, right? The difference between this and this is that up here, it still prints out the W. All right, down here, it doesn't. It just excludes this condition, this text, this argument in the if statements completely, okay? Let's move on with continue. So we have McDonald's, KFC, and Domino. It doesn't break, it just skips the Jollibee part, okay? Now down here with a bunch of 4 numbers. First one, we should expect 0 to 5 because the default is 0. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? 4 does not print the 5, it just goes up to 4, all right? And that's something that you need to be reminded of. You know, sometimes it does mess you up if you happen to forget that fact. Next up, for numbers in range, stops at 20, starting at 5. So we're starting at 5, and then we should only see up till 19 over here, okay? Stops at 19. Next up, for numbers in range, starting at 7, up to 15, increment by 2. So 7, 9, 11, and 13. Now that's it for our lesson. It's a very quick lesson. Next up, I want to introduce to you else in, nested loops, and the past statement. After this, we'll jump on into more complex topics of Python. Okay, we're leaving behind while and for loops since we've, already know the basics about them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. For loops, this is a continuation of the previous lesson. This time, we're going to take a look at the else statement, including in the for loops. So we're having if and else along with our for loops. And then we're going to take a look at nested loops and then the past statement for cases where you don't want to put anything in your for loops, right? But that's not allowed. So we're going to use the past statement to get through that. Let's move on to the first part is the else statement. So the else keyword specifies what to run after a loop is done. Okay, so once the loop is done looping, you can put like else the loop has finished printing, for example. Okay, as I've had here for numbers in range 20, so this would print 0 up to 19 and then print numbers. And once Python has printed number 19, we jump onto else and we're gonna print the loop has finished printing. As easy as that. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. The next part is there's a exception for the else statement, and that is break. So I have for numbers in range 20, if numbers equals to 15, break. Now, as you can see here, I don't have this in a new line. You don't have to. It's just, the break statement. You can put it in the same line. Make sure to have a space in between the if statement and the break statement.
print numbers, else print the loop is done looping. Now what this does is that it goes 0 to 14. When it's at 15, sorry, not 16, it stops completely, and else will not print because else does not print when there is a break statement. Okay, I hope that you understand that. Now let's move on to nested loop. Nested loop, like nested dictionary, nested if statements. It will be executed one time for each iteration that the container loop goes. Now what I said here, nested loops and container loop, they're not official terms. Okay, they're just sort of placeholders for these statements, and it's sort of it's a little bit hard to explain, so I will show you a demonstration. And don't you worry, it's very straightforward. So I have color, pink, purple, blue, and then I have hair, curly hair, straight hair, short hair. For hair, color in color. For hairstyle in hair, print hair color and then hairstyle. So you would have pink curly hair, pink straight hair, pink short hair, and then purple curly hair, purple straight hair, purple short hair, so on and so forth, like that. Okay, I will show you in a little bit in Visual Studio Code, so it's a little bit more clearer. Now lastly, we have the pass statement. Since for loops cannot be empty, you can use the pass statement to avoid getting an error. If you don't put in the pass statement, you will get what? An error. Okay, and it's just very simple. Just put in a pass over here in cases that you don't want to add anything to for loops, right? Let's start with for numbers in range 20, print numbers, else print the loop is done. Okay, let's move on. For numbers in range 20, if numbers equals to, let's say, 9, break, print numbers. Then let's go down here, else print, there's a break in the loop and this will not be printed. Okay, next up, let's move on with nested loop. Color equals to yellow, orange, and brown. And then hair equals to curly hair, straight hair, and then bob hair. Okay. For hair color in color, for hairstyle in hair, print hair color, hairstyle. All right, now that's it. Let's see how this runs. So what we have here, first off, for numbers in range 20, print numbers. It starts with 0 by default all the way down to 19, and then the loop is done. Okay, second, we implemented the break statement into the for loop with else statement. So what we have, starting from 0 by default, goes all the way to 8, because I always said here, if numbers equals to 9, break, and then it just stops, nothing else prints. Okay, lastly, we have a bunch of color and we have a bunch of hair, and then we print hair color and hairstyle. So what we're having is yellow curly hair, yellow straight hair, yellow bob hair, and then orange curly hair, orange straight hair, and it just goes on like that. Okay, and that's it. Thank you for learning with me. Thank you for being here today. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Our next topic, we're going to be diving into functions. Very, very important in Python. So don't forget to tune in. Learn today, better tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today's a new day, a new lesson. This time we're diving into a very important concept in Python, and that is
function. You use function for a lot of things. They're basically just little algorithms, little block of codes that does thing for you. And since we haven't encountered any forms of functions before, we're gonna be taking a look at the definition, the syntax, and arguments. Now, this may look, very few materials that we need to go through. But don't you worry, there are many varieties of arguments, different types of arguments, as well as the syntaxes for arguments. And arguments is an important thing, and we need to, explore it and further. So this is not the first lesson that we're going to be exploring arguments. We're going to be exploring arguments in another lesson as well. Because arguments are basically just data input for the Python functions. And if you want, an algorithm to work properly, you need to give it the correct data. Let's move on to the first part of definition and usage. Now, a function, as I've said before, is a block of code that only runs when it's called upon. So I have a sample of what a function may look like over here. We start with def, okay? My function. Now, instead of having a space, you would go with an underscore, and then you would have a parenthesis, right? But since we're not dealing with any arguments or any extra parameters, we'll just leave this blank for now. And so def my function, what this does is that it prints this is a new function, okay? And if you just stop here, that's a good function right there. Like, it's complete, nothing's missing, but it will not run. What you need to do is you need to call upon the function one more time. So you have my function, basically rewriting the name, and that's how you would call a function. And only once you've written this does a function starts running. Okay, let's move on. Now let's talk about arguments and parameters. They're very similar but also very different. Okay, so both are interchangeable. They both represent information passed into a function. But if you want to get more specific, a parameter is a variable or data given to the function within the parentheses here. And an argument is the value that's sent to the function when it's called. So an argument would be over here, okay? Parameter, argument. But they're essentially the same thing, okay? So you can use them interchangeably unless you want to get, really technical. Now, let's dive first into arguments. Arguments is a variety of data, can be given to functions. So you can add as much as you want, and you separate them by adding a comma in between each of them. We start with def my function, and we have our first, we call this parameter or argument. Favorite color, print favorite color plus is my favorite color. Now, we're moving on to the technical argument part. My function, this is calling upon the function, okay? My function, purple. My function, yellow. So this would print two instances of my function. The first one would be purple is my favorite color. The second one is yellow is my favorite color. Next up, to the number of arguments. A function must be called with the same number of arguments as, the same quantity of parameters. So if a function only has one parameter, it only needs one argument, no more, no less, otherwise you get an error. But if you want to bypass that error in the case of not knowing the exact quantity of argument or parameter that you need, I'll show you in a little bit. We'll start with def my function. We have two parameter, quantity and animal. Print quantity plus, this is a spacing, okay? Because with string, it just goes like that. There's no extra padding, no extra margin. You have to add your own spacing, your own new line and breaks and whatnot, plus parameter animal. Now, once we get to calling it, my function passing in 2, so that's 2 for quantity, and cats for animal. The first instance of this would print, 2 cats. with a spacing in between. So, it's not just 2 and cats sticking to each other. And the same thing goes with the second instance of my function, 15 dogs, all right, with the spacing. Now, arbitrary arguments. This is what I've been wanting to talk about. In the case of you not knowing how many arguments that will be passed into your function, the function will receive a tuple of arguments instead. And that's how it'll access the necessary information. Def my function, once again, we have pets. Now, this little star right here, this asterisk, okay, that signifies to Python that this is an arbitrary argument. You don't know how many you're going to pass in. Print my pets include pets 2. Now, once we get to calling it, my function, we give it, a bunch of items for the tuple, cat, dog, and fish. And since this is number 2, we go 0, 1, and 2. So this will print out my pets include fish, okay? But I forgot to include the spacing in between these two, so it's just gonna stick together, and that's something that you do have to pay attention to. Let's move on to the last part, keyword arguments. This is not the end of arguments, okay? We're just going through the surface, and we're gonna dive deeper into arguments, syntaxes, and varieties in the next lesson. With this keyword arguments, you can pass in this format key equal value syntax, so the order of the arguments does not matter. We have def my function, our parameters are pet1, pet2, and pet3. Print I only have a, pet2, plus in my house. Now we're calling it pet1 equals cat, pet2 equals dog, pet3 equals fish. So this instance will print out I only have a dog. So let's start with def my function, and then print this is a new function, okay? And now we're gonna call it my function, so it'll run in our console. Let's move on to the next part that we studied, arguments and parameters. Def my function, favorite color, that is our parameters. Print favorite color plus, so this is appending, is my favorite color. And then we're going to call it 2 times my function, just so we can see what arguments can do. Purple. And then my function, red. All right. Now let's move on to the next part with numbers of arguments. Definition, my function, quantity. So we're having 2, quantity and animal. Print quantity plus some spacing, all right, plus animal. And then we're going to call it my function 2 and cats. My function 10 and ducks. All right. Next up, to arbitrary arguments, my function, so that denotes arbitrary arguments. Print my pets include some spacing plus pets at index 2. My function, ducks, cats, and fishes, and dogs. All right. And then let's move on to the last part of keyword argument. Keyword argument. I'm going to delete this typo. My function
pet number 1, pet number 2, and pet number 3 print. I only have some spacing, pet number 2, let's say, a pen in my house. All right, let me add a period. Then we're going to call it my function pet 1 equals to cat, pet 2 equals to duck, pet 3 equals to fish. Okay. Now, since this is not arbitrary, we do have to stay with, the same parameters and the same arguments. So let's see how this works. Over here, you can see that unsupported operand types for int and string. Now, this will be an error that you will encounter when you work with function. What it means is that you cannot combine an integer denoted as quantity passed in as 2, for example, with a string animal passed in as a string and the spacing being a string over here. Okay. Another way to get through it is that you passed in quantity as a string as well, okay, because it's hard to pass in cats and ducks as integers. So let's run this, and as you can see, there is no more error. So that's one of the ways that you can handle that sort of error with mismatched data types. All right. First off, we have, very simple def my function print. This is a new function, and then purple as an argument for this function. So you have purple is my favorite color, and then red is my favorite color. You can see how functions are very convenient. Next up, quantity and animal, all of these are strings, okay? 2 cats, 10 ducks, 10 ducks, okay? With the spacing. Now, if you exclude this, you run it one more time, they're stuck together, okay? Next up, to pets. My pets include arbitrary arguments, number 2. So we have 0, 1, and 2, and 3. So it becomes my pets include fishes, all right? Last but not least, I only have a pet number 2 in my house. And we have, pet number 2 over here as a duck. I only have a duck in my house, right? We're missing a spacing over here. Now, if I just add this little guy over here and run it again, okay, that's something that you do have to pay attention to, and it's, just one of the petty mistakes that you can make. Now, that's it for our brief introduction to Python's functions. Next lesson is going to be a harder grind and better look at arguments, okay? It's very important. Functions are very, just like while loop and for loops, it's very useful, very convenient to put in your code. You basically cannot function without it. All right, so don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope that you enjoy this lesson, and don't forget to tune in to my next Python lesson. Learn today, better tomorrow. Remember to like and subscribe. Goodbye. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tinateach Python. Today's lesson is about arguments, okay, specifically about these things, and we're going to take a look through all of their use cases, their syntax, why and when we need them for. First off, we're going to take a look at arbitrary keyword arguments. This is in the case that you don't know how many keyword arguments that will pass in. So arbitrary keyword arguments would give the function a dictionary to work with instead of the classic arguments number that you see in previous lesson that I've explained. We have def my function and then this too. So these are the symbols that tell Python, hey, this is an arbitrary keyword arguments, all right? It's not just any sort of argument. Now I want to print my friend's name is, but I don't know her name yet. So I'm going to pass in friend and first
name. Now, when I call my function, I will give it the following information. First name is Emily, last name is Brown. So in all, this will return my friend's name is Emily. Okay, let's move on to the next part, default parameter value. What does this mean? If you call a function without arguments, it will make use of the default value. Now, I will demonstrate this to you. Obviously, all of these will be in demonstration, but a default value is not a built-in value. It is something that you set for yourself. Over here, the default value of friend name is Emily. Print I'm friends with friend name. This is referring to the friend name over here, the argument placeholder. Now, when I call it my function Jessica, it will be I'm friends with Jessica. My function Nadia, I'm friends with Nadia. But if I don't pass anything in, it will be Emily. As simple as that. Passing a list as an argument. You can send any data types and they will be considered the same thing inside of a function. Example, I have food passed in as, the placeholder for an argument, and now I have result. My bad. Result is a placeholder. It doesn't have to be strictly result. It could be X, Y, Z, or whatever you want. For result in food, the argument passed in print result, and I passed in breakfast. Obviously, is an array with pancake, orange juice, and banana. My function breakfast will go through all of these. Okay? To the last part of the lesson, returning values. As the name suggests, this allows a function to return a value, and we're going to be working with numbers to make it easier. We have number, argument, return. So this will print out or, display the result in the console 20 times the argument. Print my function, that is the number passed in here. So my function will be returning 20 times 22, 20 times 14, and 20 times 9. Def my function, friend, print my friend's name is friend, first name. My function, first name is Emily, last name is Brown. Oops, my bad. Def my function, friend name Emily, print I'm friends with plus friend name. My function Jessica, my function just default. Def my function food, for result in food, print result. Breakfast is orange juice, banana, apple. My function breakfast. Def my function number, return 35 times number. Print my function 33. Print my function 12. So first off, we have this block of code over here. My friend's name is friend's first name, and first name should be Emily. So my friend's name is Emily. The second block of code, I'm friends with friend name. Default value is Emily.
We're first calling it with another argument, Jessica. So I'm friends with Jessica, and once we don't pass in anything, it goes for the default value. I'm friends with Emily. To the third block of code for result in food, print result looping through breakfast. So we have orange juice, banana, and apple. Now, to the last part, my function number return. So this will calculate 35 times whatever is passed in as the argument number. The first calling, my function 33. So we have 33 times 35. This returns 1,155. Second one is 12 times 35. This returns 420. Now that's it for today's lesson. I hope that you learned something new. Today's lesson was quite straightforward, and it is the end of the argument section when it comes to function. We're moving on to lambda. Is another type of function that is quite convenient, and you certainly can make use of it in multiple cases. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Learn today, better tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.